Okay, I'm making some changes. Just info for those who probably haven't seen my previous videos. This unit was in my RV, Cougar. It's a 28-foot, 31-foot bumper to bumper. This will be my third season of using it. I built it in such a way that I can slide it in and slide it out, disconnect, reconnect, bring it in for the winter if I want to, and do some upgrades. And one of the feature that I've wanted to do for a long time, only did it, is using this plug. Okay, this is the plug that would go to my converter in the trailer. It would have a connection, something like this. So this would be hot when the system is, oops, let me just show this. This would be hot if my system is running. In fact, it is hot right now. If I was to plug into that unit, I would have power here. And this, of course, right now I'm just using an adapter to plug into my 15 amp AC unit. Normally, this would plug into the cable that you plug in from the offshore. I set it up in such a way that none of the connectors are hot. That's a key thing to remember. So that's what I'm doing. This is optional. I can use it or not use it. If for some reason I want an extra plug because I'm working on it, I could just shove this in and use that, and I have power. I even used it here. Perhaps I can test that even. Sure, give me a second. Okay. As you can see, I plugged it in. I have power. Now, this is wired for 120, but I could actually have this for 240, or I could even design in such a way that both sides are live. But I have no need for that, so I left it that. And just to show, I'll turn off the breaker that would feed my converter, RV. So, assuming this light with the number 10 wire, of course, going to my converter and trailer, has its own breakers, lots of breakers. It would then energize my converter, and everything in the trailer would work as if I'm offshore. No limitations. Okay, I'm disconnected. As you can see, I have two breakers. This would provide power to my converter. And this is the output of my charger. Now, let's say, for example, this whole system failed, middle of the night. I can bypass all this by simply using this quick connectors. Take this, it would plug into my offshore plug, and this would plug in to my converter, bypassing the whole system. Things happen, so it's always good to prepare that, especially when you're off-grid, away from everywhere. This is my workbench. Okay, one more thing I was going to talk about. Okay, right now I am using, well, no, actually, I was using my Lynx shunt. I have a third-party BMS that will control my system. And in this case, I'm using the SimplyOffGridLife 300HP. Notice this little cable plugged in, plugs into my Servo GX. My SimplyOffGridLife kit controls the charging and discharging, the way I have it set up. I could also set it in such a way that either my inverter or my link shunt controls things. I set it on auto, and by setting on auto, it will automatically select my SumFun kit. If for some reason the BMS fails, my link shunt takes over. Double protection. So, if you're looking for a battery, try to find a battery that can act like a BMS controller that will actually monitor your system. So you have a backup system. I've been testing this for this season. This is the first season I used this setup. And I've tested with other batteries side by side. It works great. There are no issues. The charging, discharging goes together. The only difference is you'll see a different level of charge. While this one, for example, may run at 60 amp. My SFK300HP will charge around 30 amps. They both have the same parameters. I don't know. I think there's a lot of them are now trying to set up their BMS in such a way that you always have 20% headroom. They will claim that 14 volts or something of that sort is 100% charge, where in fact it really isn't. It's just 90%, maybe even 80, all depends. They're just hedging their warranty, I guess. The disadvantage of that, if you only have one battery, well, you got a 10% cut off when it's discharged, and you have 20% you lost on top. So basically you have 70%. But if you need 100, then you're forced to buy two batteries. There's different ways of looking at it, I guess. Okay, I'm waiting for parts. I got most of them. There's a few more things. I have 4 of these switches. And I'm going to wire it up in this area so that I have 4 shut-offs. Initially, I'll just start off with 2. So this way I can shut off to the battery all within reach of one site. The reason I use this, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, when hooking up multiple batteries, you have to use a bus bar. And this is my bus bar. And each of my bus bars are fused. I fuse according to the size of the battery. I have 100 amps, I have 200, and I have 300 amp. And as long as your cabling is the same length and the appropriate cable gauge is correct, it will be balanced. So I can have 4 batteries, or I can have 2 batteries on each bank and still maintain the balance. If you don't do it this way, then what's going to happen, one battery is going to charge more than the other. One battery will work harder than the other. And you may even have some heating issues, especially if the cabling is not the correct size. For a 300 amp battery, number 2 gauge is all you need. However, I'm using 2 odd. And you have to keep in mind the length of your cabling. Right now, all the cabling I have is 5 feet for each line. But when calculating the amperage, you got to double it, so it's 10 feet. You have physically 5 feet, but when you calculating the amperage capacity, you got to say 10 feet. And number 2 wire, I have no problem handling the 300 amp. I spent 3 seasons trying to determine what batteries I should use. I wasn't happy with the Sun. SOK, I think, 206. Didn't like it, so I decided not to pursue it. So I tried this one. When I first got this, it didn't have this option, and I liked the capacity, but I wanted my Victron system to be able to talk to it. And so with this system, it can. So I'm setting it up such a way that I can add 4 of these. I'll start with, one at a time. So I think I've kind of figured out which way I'm going to go with the batteries. No rush. I do have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 amps right now. And I found most of the time 500 amps seems to handle it quite well. I don't run low on power. And I do have a generator. The only area that I still got to explore is my solar panels. I just don't like the flexible solar panels. They just don't last. I would never put on the roof of my RV. And the glass model ones, the amount that I want to put on my RV would be too heavy on the roof. It would also fail me in the weight test probably if I had to get the weight of my trailer measured. Probably be told, too heavy, you got to unload. And thinking ahead, that's why when I decided on the system and I calculated his weight, I removed things in my RV by renovating. My RV came with this press board, kitchen table, bunks, and I had a sofa that was bulky and heavy. Just 2 of us had trouble lifting it. Gone. I ripped that all out, took out all the sofa, and replaced my table with an IKEA. It's very light wood, 4 chairs. This is probably our 3rd season, or 4th maybe even. And I was glad to remove all that press board table and bunks and so forth. So I reduced my weight, allowing me to increase the weight for my RV system, solar system, Victron system, the batteries. And I have a couple other more renovation projects that will expand the space, make more room, and reduce the weight inside. So, definitely the flexible solar panels would never put on the roof. The glass model ones, 100 amps or whatever, I would not put on the roof. I'm looking at the SIGs, but I need to get one first. No rush for this season. From what I gather, the SIGs, they seem to be very durable, long-lasting. They're light, of course. So I'll probably order one and replace the 2 100s that I have on my diesel truck on the roof. I use that to maintain my 2 batteries in the diesel truck, especially wintertime. When you start lowering your diesel truck batteries down to 50% or less, you're starting to damage it. With the 2 solar panels, it always maintains the voltage at 13.8 or higher, depending. My wife will sometimes lately a lot, will take the truck to work, 10-minute drive. Imagine minus 30 outside Celsius or minus 40 Fahrenheit or Celsius. You use a lot of battery power because there's about 200 amps is drawn to heat the air for the diesel truck to start. And you drive for 10 minutes and then it sits all day, still cold. In the evening, start it up the same way, drive 10 minutes. It doesn't take long before you get a low battery voltage message. So that's why I have these solar panels. It eliminated that problem. Don't have to worry. The only thing I would have to do is when snow is heavy, I just shove the snow off the panels with an extended broom. So when I do get the SIGs, they claim it's more efficient in low shadow in which I have a lot of shadows because it's flat on the roof. So I'm figuring the 150 will be just as good as the two 100s. But until I get one, which it's not on my budget right now to do so for this season, but maybe in the spring, if all goes well, I'll be able to test it out and then determine, okay, that's what I'll put on the trailer. For now, we have a generator, and if we're gone for the weekend, the battery system can easily handle everything we want, run our coffee machines and whatever, or cook using 120 volts with this system. So we love it so far. This is a quick rundown of what I'm working on. I'll get more details as I complete each project. And, you know, if this is an area that you're interested in, subscribe so that you'll be aware of any additional videos that will come out. I have several in the works. Time is a problem. I can't seem to spend too much time on each video, so I try to at least put something out. And of course, thumbs up would be appreciated, because without it, I'm invisible on YouTube's. Thank you again. Okay. I've connected to my remote console on my Victron system. This is the page I normally default. It's basically monitoring the system. You currently saw my video just before this one. Let's go take a look at the menu. There we go. There's my SunFun kit. These are all the options or variables that you can see. Cell voltage right now. 0.012 is the cell difference. The difference. And of course gives you the min, the max, and the difference. And I don't have balancing on. So, okay. More details, I guess, if you want. Okay, now let me go to settings, system. There you go. Set for automatic. I have the multi-plus, I have the links, and the SunFun kit. If for some reason this fails, it'll fall back to the links, and then I think to the multi-plus if that was to fail. Or no battery monitor at all. I like that, it's good. And it tells me what I selected. Okay. I think I had other videos giving more details about it. I'm still experimenting with this DVCC. I think there are a few things that doesn't work properly. It worked one time and another time doesn't work. Maximum charge current. Let's say my Victron was 90 amps. I was able to reduce it by changing this, but for some reason, going back 2 years ago, I noticed it wouldn't work anymore. And then I did an update and it worked again. And I just did an update 2-3 days ago and it's not working. So there must be something I'm overlooking, so I'm going to take a closer look. Maximum charge current. I get the impression that right now, because there's something not done right here, my Victron Multi-Plus settings is what's being used. So, but it should work. I'll just have to do some research. So I'll just let you know. And of course, if I'm plugged in, there's a socket for an Ethernet cable, which is not plugged in right now, unplugged, so it doesn't work. But I do have Wi-Fi enabled, so I'm good. There's another option, GSM modem, great, I guess, for if you want to use cell connection or something of that sort. You have to buy the device, but I don't see a need for it, so I haven't bothered. And Bluetooth, which is handy to have for monitoring. GPS, I have it set up so that it's tracking. Generator stop and start. I haven't hooked that up yet because I only run a generator maybe 1 hour or 2 at the most, depending on if there's a lot of heavy electrical cooking going on. Or it decides to make some homemade soup and use different things. Okay, so that's quick view here. Let me go back. Well, there was a few more things I was going to talk about, but I'll save it for another time.